The movie opens with the introduction of a man named Frank Vega, a character who has encountered numerous hardships in his life, notably due to his service in the Vietnam War. While riding a bus one day, he witnessed two mischievous kids causing a commotion, which reminds him of his humble upbringing with his parents. The heart-wrenching truth, however, is that Frank was conscripted to serve in the Vietnam War for a grueling 10 years. When he finally returned home, he was met with the heartbreaking news that his girlfriend had moved on, married someone else, and had 2 children. The pain he must have endured during this period is unimaginable. Filled with sorrow, Frank resolves to apply to the police academy, believing that his military background would make him a suitable candidate. To his great disappointment, he is rejected, left with limited options for employment. Frank ends up making a living by selling hot dogs, a job that becomes his means of survival. However, his life takes a turn for the worse when a modern and luxurious hot dog truck arrives in town, siphoning away most of Frank's customers. With no other choice, he becomes a drifter, living without a permanent home or job. Frank Vega's life is filled with hardships, and the challenges keep coming. Now, let's fast forward to the present day. Aboard a bus, 2 unruly kids cause a scene, posing a threat to an older man. However, before they could do anything, Frank intervened, rescuing the elderly passenger and giving the troublemakers a well-deserved thrashing. Bystanders on the bus captured the entire episode on their cameras, and it swiftly spread across social media platforms. Frank's selfless act catapults him to sudden fame as the video goes viral and he becomes known as a badass. In no time, merchandise featuring his face, including t-shirts and graffiti, floods the streets. The local police even extended their support, offering Frank a ride around the town. Yet, that's not all. Frank and his mother are invited as guests on the talk show. Tragically, just 3 months later, Frank's mother passes away, leaving him her home and her loyal pet dog. Now, the story takes an intriguing turn. Frank's friend and fellow Vietnam veteran, Klondike Washington, moves in with him and hands over a USB flash drive. Frank, unaware of its contents, stores it in his late mother's safe deposit box. One evening, Klondike encounters 2 troublemakers, Terrence and Sebastian, who are after the flash drive. Klondike lies to them, claiming he doesn't have it with him. The situation escalates, leading to a tragic outcome. Klondike is killed by the 2 thugs, who quickly flee. When Frank receives news of his dearest friend's sad demise, he rushes to the morgue to see Klondike's body. Overwhelmed with grief and anger, he asks the police to launch a thorough investigation into Klondike's murder and bring the murderers to justice. Now, here's where it gets tricky. One evening, Frank receives an unexpected visit from Officer Milwaukee, a colleague on the police force who endeavors to assuage Frank's concerns by assuring him of the dedicated efforts to resolve Klondike's murder. However, Frank's doubts intensify when he later observes the police efficiently solving other crimes, and they appear to be procrastinating in Klondike's case. Frank's frustration mounts as he perceives the police as dragging their feet in seeking justice for his fallen friend. In response to his perceived inaction, Frank makes a pivotal decision. He will take the investigation into his own hands. Frank's investigation takes him to the alley where Klondike was shot. Delving into the scene, he unearths a pivotal clue in the form of empty bullet casings and a locket containing a woman's picture. Sensing that this discovery may hold the key to unlocking the mystery, Frank takes the bullets and locket to a local pawn shop. The pawn shop owner tells him that the locket belongs to a known felon named Terrence, and inside the locket is the picture of Terrence's wife. Armed with this new information, Frank traces Terrence to an address provided by his wife. Unfortunately, when he arrives, Terrence is nowhere to be found, and his wife discloses that he hasn't been home for a week. Returning the locket to Terrence's wife, Frank attempts to learn more about Terrence's whereabouts. His persistence leads to an unexpected revelation, with Terrence's wife disclosing that Terrence used to play basketball with friends at a local park. In response, Frank promptly heads for the park. However, when he arrives, he sees some guys playing basketball and asks them about Terrence's whereabouts. However, instead of offering assistance, these young men mock and taunt Frank. This provokes Frank, prompting him to beat some of them. It is then revealed that these very guys are in fact Terrence's close associates. Frank tells them to stop fooling around, and they provide Frank with limited information, admitting that they are unaware of Terrence's current location, but suggesting that a particular individual named Ronaldo might know because he is a close friend of Terence. Frank proceeds to pay Ronaldo a visit at his place, where he encounters Ronaldo's roommate. This encounter yields a critical revelation. Ronaldo is known to frequent a bar located on the opposite side of town. Frank promptly makes his way to the designated bar, although he is met with resistance from some people who don't want him there. However, Frank disagrees with them and forces his way through until he finds Ronaldo. Employing a blend of tactics, including hanging Ronaldo over the building railings, Frank succeeds in extracting information from Ronaldo to disclose information regarding Terence seeing a woman named Tanya. The scene takes an intriguing turn as the focus shifts to Panther, a gangster boss. Panther is Terence and Sebastian's boss, the two notorious troublemakers. As the storyline unfolds, Panther has a talk with Major Williams, the city's corrupt mayor. Major Williams pushes pressure on Panther to recover the flash drive that Klondike stole. Unknown to many, this flash drive contains irrefutable evidence of the mayor's illicit activities and rampant corruption during his time in office. What transpires next unveils a twist in the tale. Klondike had previously been working for Panther, but had chosen to sever ties and orchestrate a daring heist, stealing Major Williams' vital flash drive, thereby betraying Panther in the process. As Frank's investigation intensifies, he gains a valuable ally in his young neighbor, Martin. Together, they work to uncover the contents of the flash drive. Frank's investigation leads him to Tanya. One evening, he pays a visit to Tanya, who works at a local massage parlor. However, Tanya proves to be uncooperative when Frank inquires about Terence. In response, Frank resorts to covertly trailing Tanya from her workplace to her home. In a covert operation, Frank ultimately succeeds in tracking down Terence, employing a combination of intimidation and persistence to extract information concerning the person behind Klondike's tragic death. As a last resort, Frank uses an assertive approach, forcing Terence's hand onto the kitchen trash can, hurting him a bit. This results in Terence leaking out the secret that exposes Klondike's involvement in dangerous activities. It appears that Klondike's actions put him on the wrong side of a powerful figure in the drug trade, Panther. Klondike's theft of the flash drive, which contained confidential information regarding Major Williams' plan to drill an oil well in the area, set off a chain of events with dire consequences. With newfound intelligence in hand, Frank decides to confront Panther, and Terence even tells him where to find him. Before facing Panther, Frank returns home to prepare. However, he is interrupted by a commotion at Martin's house. Amber, Martin's mother, is trapped in an abusive relationship with her husband, and Frank intervenes to rescue her from a dire situation. Grateful for Frank's intervention, Amber extends an invitation to him, inviting him for lunch. Frank seizes the opportunity, meticulously preparing for the occasion by presenting himself in his finest attire to make a lasting impression. During their meal, a sense of intimacy builds, leading to a moment of romantic connection between Frank and Amber. However, they are about to share a kiss when Martin Jr. returns home, discovering them together. Due to Amber's house door having issues, Frank insists that Amber and Martin stay in his place until he can repair her front door. The following day, Frank hands over the flash drive to Officer Malak, his colleague on the police force, before embarking on a mission to locate Panther at his hideout. Panther becomes aware of Frank's pursuit and instructs his crew to ambush Frank if he fails to deliver the flash drive. The ensuing ambush leaves Frank in a precarious situation, overpowered by Panther's gang and subsequently incapacitated. What transpires next is a harrowing ordeal as Panther's men subject Frank to various forms of physical and psychological torment in a desperate bid to get the flash drive's location. Subjected to torture and interrogation, Frank refuses to yield even when subjected to electroshock devices. Meanwhile, Panther grows increasingly frustrated with Frank's stubbornness not to reveal the location of the flash drive. Panther checks Frank's wallet and decides to track down Frank's residence, believing that the flash drive is hidden there among Frank's loved ones. While Panther's men are torturing Frank, Panther himself rushes to Frank's house, determined to locate the flash drive. However, in a thrilling turn of events, Frank manages to break free from his restraints. He utilizes a match given to him by Amber, setting an explosive chain reaction by setting fire to nearby oil barrels. The resulting explosion creates chaos, providing Frank with an opportunity to escape his Panther's men. Noticing the explosion, Panther tries to escape and Frank decides to pursue him. This sets the stage for a high-speed chase between Frank and Panther, who each hijack buses, leading to collisions and chaos on the streets. Ultimately, both buses get wrecked. However, Frank, now on foot, won't give up in his relentless pursuit of Panther. Along the way, Frank crosses paths with the two troublemakers from the bus, who, in a misguided attempt to redeem themselves, decide to record a video of themselves beating Frank on their cell phones. However, Frank once again teaches them a lesson, showing them who is the boss and continuing to chase Panther. When Panther finally arrives at Frank's house, he finds Amber there. He threatens to harm her and tries to use her as leverage to force Frank to surrender the flash drive. However, Frank arrives in the nick of time, rescuing Amber from harm. In a climactic showdown, Frank and Panther start fighting, which spirals from the interior of the house to the front yard. Just as Panther is about to overpower Frank once more, Amber intervenes, jumping onto Panther's back to slow him down. This brave diversion provides Frank with the crucial opportunity he needs to defeat Panther once and for all. With Panther's capture, justice appears to be within reach. As Panther is arrested, the police also arrest Major Williams, the corrupt mayor. The media's exposure of their shady dealings marks a turning point as their illicit activities are brought to light. In the aftermath of the tumultuous events, the movie ends with a happy ending for Frank, Amber, and Martin as they find peace and security in each other's company. In summary, Badass is a thrilling story of one man's journey to uncover the truth and seek justice, ultimately triumphing over adversity and corruption. Frank Vega's unwavering determination, heroism, and the support of his neighbors make for a compelling and inspiring narrative that reminds us that even in the face of the darkest challenges, there is always hope for a bright future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more action-packed movies like this. Thank you for watching.